1. Homeless, destitute. At the lowest level of wealth, survival becomes the main priority. People in this category often struggle with housing insecurity, food insecurity, debt, unemployment, lack of access to opportunities. At this stage, wealth isn't about investing. It's about making it through the week. And this is something many financially comfortable people forget. When someone is constantly worried about rent, food, transportation, their brain naturally focuses on immediate survival. Long-term planning becomes extremely difficult because when today's problems feel overwhelming, tomorrow feels far away. That's why moving from this level to the next often starts with stability rather than wealth. 2. Crisis level. At this level, someone may have a home and income, but financially, they're constantly putting out fires. Every unexpected expense feels like a disaster, a broken car, a medical bill, a missed paycheck, and suddenly everything falls apart. Many people at this level live under constant financial stress, not because they're irresponsible, but because they have almost no margin for error. Psychologically, this creates a state of permanent anxiety. Money isn't building freedom, it's simply preventing disaster. The biggest difference between crisis level and the next level isn't income. It's breathing room. 3. Paycheck to paycheck. This is where millions of people live. The bills get paid, the lights stay on. Life looks normal from the outside, but by the time the next paycheck arrives, most of the previous one is already gone. People in this category often have jobs, apartments, cars, subscriptions, normal lifestyles, but little to no savings. And the dangerous thing is that this level can exist at almost any income. Someone earning $40,000 can live paycheck to paycheck. So can someone earning $150,000, because the problem isn't always income. Sometimes it's spending, sometimes it's debt, sometimes it's lifestyle inflation. The defining characteristic is simple. If income stops, the system stops. 4. Treading water. This is where people start gaining some control. They have small savings, slightly less debt, a little more financial awareness, but progress still feels slow. It's like swimming in the ocean. You're no longer drowning, but you're not reaching shore either. Many people spend years in this stage. They're doing the right things, saving, budgeting, reducing debt, yet they still feel financially stuck. The challenge here isn't survival, it's momentum. Because wealth often grows slowly before it grows quickly, and many people quit during this phase because the rewards still feel invisible. 5. Financially stable. This is the level many people dream about. Not rich, not wealthy, just stable. Bills get paid. Emergencies are manageable. Debt is under control. There's money left at the end of the month. For the first time, money stops feeling like a constant source of stress, and that creates something incredibly valuable: peace of mind. At this level, people often have emergency savings, manageable expenses, predictable finances. The interesting thing? Financial stability often increases happiness more than wealth itself, because stability removes uncertainty, and uncertainty is what creates so much financial stress. 6. Middle class. The middle class is where people begin building a solid financial foundation. They often own homes, retirement accounts, investments, valuable skills. Life becomes less about surviving and more about progressing. People at this level can often take vacations, save consistently, plan years ahead, but they still depend heavily on active income. If they stop working permanently, their lifestyle eventually stops too. And that's the key distinction. Middle-class wealth creates comfort, but not necessarily freedom. 7. Upper middle class. At this stage, wealth starts becoming more visible. People often have higher incomes, substantial home equity, larger investment accounts, multiple income streams. From the outside, they may already look wealthy. Nice neighborhood, nice cars, nice vacations. But the biggest difference isn't appearance, it's flexibility. Upper middle class individuals have more options, more choices, more financial resilience. And importantly, they often have the ability to invest larger amounts consistently, which dramatically accelerates wealth building. 8. Mass affluent. This is where investing starts doing serious work. The mass affluent category generally includes people with significant investable assets and growing portfolios. These individuals often understand something important. Money can make money. Their wealth is no longer coming entirely from labor. Now investments begin contributing meaningfully. Stocks, ETFs, businesses, real estate. At this level, people often shift from asking, "How much can I earn?" to "How much can my money earn?" And that mindset change is powerful because wealth starts becoming less dependent on hours worked. 9. Millionaire. This is the level most people think of when they hear the word wealth. A millionaire has a net worth of at least $1 million. In the financial industry, this is often considered the starting point for high net worth individuals. But here's the surprising part. Many millionaires don't look rich. They don't fly private jets. They don't own yachts. They often live surprisingly normal lives because becoming a millionaire is usually less about luxury and more about consistency. Years of investing, saving, ownership, patience finally become visible. The biggest shift? Money problems become smaller, but money decisions become larger. 10. Multimillionaire. This is where wealth starts creating genuine freedom. At several $1 million in net worth, investments can often generate meaningful income on their own. People at this level usually have diversified investments, larger businesses, multiple assets, and increasingly, they gain something more valuable than money: time. They can choose where to work, how to work, whether to work. This is often the point where wealth becomes a lifestyle advantage rather than simply a financial advantage. 11. Ultra-high net worth. The financial industry typically considers ultra-high net worth to begin around $30 million in assets, growing it across generations. At this level, wealth management becomes dramatically more complex. People often have private businesses, large investment portfolios, family offices, professional advisors. The game changes. It's no longer about accumulating wealth. It's about preserving it, protecting it, growing it across generations. The lifestyle also changes significantly: private aviation, exclusive investments, global opportunities. But perhaps the biggest difference is access. Access to deals, networks, and opportunities unavailable to most people. 12. Centimillionaire. A centimillionaire is someone worth at least $100 million. This is an extremely rare category. At this level, wealth becomes influence. These individuals often own major companies, control large investment portfolios, fund projects, shape industries. Interestingly, the lifestyle difference between $30 million and $100 million isn't always as dramatic as people imagine, but the scale of opportunities becomes much larger. The focus often shifts from consumption to impact: building, acquiring, expanding, creating legacies. 13. Billionaire. The billionaire level exists in a category of its own. A billionaire isn't simply 10 times wealthier than someone worth $100 million. The scale is entirely different. At this level, individuals can influence industries, markets, governments, philanthropy, technology. The conversation changes from personal wealth to global influence. Many billionaires own significant stakes in companies rather than holding massive amounts of cash. Their wealth is often tied to ownership. And that's perhaps the biggest lesson of all. The highest levels of wealth are rarely built through income alone. They're built through ownership. Ownership of businesses, investments, assets, ideas. And that's why the wealth ladder isn't really a ladder of money. It's a ladder of leverage. The higher you climb, the less your wealth depends on your own labor, and the more it depends on what you own.